Hi, and thanks for joining me on the NBA Economy Show. Today is going to be a Knicks centric video. If you watched the Knicks last night, it's another loss. They've been losing a lot lately. The defense have not looked good. Some people have thought maybe this will make the Knicks think differently about the trade deadline. We Maybe a month ago, people didn't think much was going to happen at the deadline. Like the Knicks pretty much were set, didn't really have any big needs. But we seen what Mike Brown has implemented early is not being taken heed at this point in the season. Um, some have even called for main core players to be traded. Um, I don't think necessarily a core player has to be traded, uh, but it is a possibility. I think if the right player becomes available, I think the Knicks should definitely take a look at making a trade. And one of those players who could make a very big impact may be available, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr., also called Triple J. He is someone the Knicks have looked at for years, wanting to bring in the organization. We just haven't been able to. This year, I thought that possibility was going to be gone for a while because he signed an extension with Memphis, and Memphis cleared out some salary, gave them the maximum amount of salary they can give him to make sure he was signed for the next 5 years, even bumping up his pay. Um, However, things have changed. What has changed is their thought of John Morant staying with the squad is gone. They are openly shopping him. It's something that is going to happen. It's not an if, but a when. And while they're doing that, they're having everything on the table. They have not said that they were going to trade Jaren Jackson Jr., but the way they've gone about it, it's a real possibility. And why would you trade someone who's a defensive player of the year? Um, well, I think the way they're setting it up, they're not going to be winning for the next at least 2 years. Um, Also, with the big bump in pay that they set him up for, he would have to be the lead dog. And what he's shown is that he cannot carry the team on his own. He is not a number one. He is not a number two. But he is probably a number three on an NBA team. I know a lot of people will say otherwise, but he's a third on the team. I know some people have said, "Hey, let's trade Cat for him." If you're frustrated with Cat's offense, you certainly would be very frustrated with Jaren Jackson Jr. For someone as skilled as he is, he is not filling up the hoop uh, like you would think. But his defense is great. His his especially his rim protection. So we've seen that he's one defensive player of the year. So why would the Knicks want Jaren Jackson Jr.? We do have Karl Anthony Towns at center. Jaren Jackson is more of a power forward than he is center. I He doesn't rebound very well, but he does block shots. He does defend well. He does shoot the three at a good percentage. So he is a floor spacing big. So to pair Cat with an ideal floor spacing big is what we're doing. and doing it at a time that's probably beneficial for Memphis. Uh, this year he makes 35 million. Actually, what I'm going to do is show you his contract. So for this year, he's going to make $35 million. Next year starts his new contract. So 26, 27, and then it's up from there. Basically, it goes up $1.5 million per year until 29, 30, where he has a player option. And then next summer, he's an unrestricted free agent. So that's the structure of his contract. The downside for trading for a guy like that means that you're trading for him now at 35, and next year you're adding approximately $15 million to your cap. So basically, the Knicks are taking like pretty much a hot potato contract, and it is going to explode on the Knicks balance sheet next year. This is the same time that Mikal Bridges' extension is kind of set up the same way, where he's getting a certain amount this year, and next year it's going to expand. So if you're trading for Jaren Jackson Jr., you are certainly over the second apron next year. You're certainly over the second apron next year. So what I've seen from a lot of people when they've talked about Jaren Jackson Jr., they said, hey, let's trade Mikal Bridges, who has an exploding contract, for Jaren Jackson Jr., probably add Mitch in, add Deuce in, and that would equal it out. And, you know, that 35 will turn into 50, and with Mikal, his 25 will turn into 40. Evens out. But the talent doesn't even out. Like, Memphis would not do that. Memphis wants stability. Memphis wants to build from the bottom. So they don't want any contract that is going to expand next year. So we're basically, to do this deal, we're going to be taking on the brunt of that contract, and we're going to go over the second apron. It's kind of part of the deal. What would I do to make that happen? Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to look at a trade real quick. And of course, we're going to put the disclaimer there. And let's look at it. Okay. So this is how I would approach it. I would send them OG Anunoby and Deuce McBride. And I know everybody say, hey, that's a lot. But once you've gone here, Deuce McBride is going to need a new contract. And you're probably doing this trade. You're probably not going to try. You're not going to extend Deuce McBride to what he's worth. So you're just pretty much giving up on him now. You don't have first round picks this end, but you can give them a piece of Miles McBride that they can either use or they can trade next year. You're getting Jaren Jackson Jr., rim protection. He would become your starting power forward, kind of taking OG Anunoby's spot. And you're getting Scottie Pippen Jr. And Scottie Pippen Jr. would be a good point guard to have on this squad. So you're not relying just on Kolick. You have Scottie Pippen Jr., who has been a fine backup. Is kind of not in his same role. He's not in his same role because we see Cam Spencer has really done well. So we can use him here. Basically, him and Kolick. You're at this point, You're looking for Landry Shamet to pick up a lot of the deuce minutes at this point. Hold on 1 second. Just gonna. Yeah, so you're really looking at Deuce not being there, Landry picking up the pieces and spreading the minutes around. Would we miss OG Anunoby? Absolutely. We love his defense, but that rim protection is definitely needed, and Mitch cannot be relied on health wise. And if even Mitch is to be, if you're going to rely on Mitch, he probably won't be back next year. So you're basically setting up Karl-Anthony Towns for success, so that you have another guy who can guard centers and power forwards. So basically, he's going to take the better of the two off of Karl-Anthony Towns' hands. We're going to need Mikal Bridges to step up. Like Mikal Bridges defensively is going to have to step up from us. What would improve? Not only that rim protection, but also 3-point shooting. You have someone in Jaren Jackson Jr. who shoots as many threes as OG Anunoby, so you're not losing it there. But you can alternate. Now Cat can be inside or outside, or Cat could take plays off. There's a lot of options. I think I can see a lot with Cat being a playmaker. This being a very good, very big acquisition. Do I see this trade actually happening? I could see it happening, but I do know there's a lot of teams that want the services of Jaren Jackson Jr. So this isn't, hey, I think the Knicks will like him. We can be that secret team. They're going to be at least 5 teams going after Jaren Jackson Jr. Teams are already inquiring. So why do I mention this? Do we have a chance? Well, we do have some advantages. Well, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a CAA client, so he is technically in the family. So if he is interested, that's an event. That is an advantage. Also, the Knicks are very familiar with Jaren Jackson Jr. His dad was hired by the Knicks several years ago to work in Westchester before his last contract, just to see if the Knicks can. I think the Knicks really wanted Triple J to come over to the Knicks. That didn't work out. But he's been around the organization. He's been around his dad. He knows what the Knicks are about. He is CAA. And I think there's always a push for CA clients to go to the Knicks, and the Knicks to bring the max out of these players. So I think the Knicks do have an advantage. And if Jaren Jackson Jr. puts his finger on the scale, if it came to a trade, I think the Knicks could really come out on top. I do have several. We're gonna have several other shows this week. Our show with IKBM Dre hasn't happened yet. Hopefully over the weekend that happens. We're gonna be talking about Karl-Anthony Towns, on trading him if it's necessary, or scenarios if we had to trade Cat. I really hope the Knicks are going to play better, because these are things I would talk about. But I think everybody's talking about it now. I don't really like the idea of trading Cat, because Cat has shown you what he can do. It's just things aren't working right now. So you just pretty much you have to figure out what you need to do to get him back to where he was. He has said he has some bumps and bruises this year. He has a thigh. He has a quad issue that he's been nursing all year. So is it related to that? I don't know. We have to figure that out. Um, so if there's any like Knick subjects you want to talk about, definitely hit me up in the chat. Always comment on the videos. Um, if there are any news, I will definitely bring it to you, especially with the Knicks. I do want to do a video on Ja Morant. I do also want to do a couple other videos by the time this weekend is over. All right. I thank y'all for really following me. Please subscribe. Give this video a like, and I will check you out next time. And have a great day.